Since 1984, San Francisco's esteemed Larkin Street Youth Center has been helping those most in need of services. And for the last few years, there has been a special series of programs aimed at LGBTQ youth. Today we're going to learn about that program from the Executive Director of Larkin Street, Sherilyn Adams. Welcome.
Thank you.
You know, I joke sometimes as a gay man, oh, how many more letters are we going to have? LGBTQQ.
Right.
But especially for young people, the idea that they may not know whether am I lesbian, am I gay, am I bisexual, or am I just going through a questioning phase, the QQ, queer and questioning. How has that evolving definition of this community impacted the work of Larkin Street?
Well, I think that for young people, that the ability to kind of claim their own identity and not feel boxed in. And I think as generations evolve, there is less willingness to be boxed in. So hence more letters, if you will, right? To give people more, to show the fluidity, to show the flexibility. And I think in terms of the programming, that means that we too have to be fluid and flexible. And so while we have specific programs identified for LGBTQ youth, they are throughout, we see queer youth throughout all of our programs. And so really it calls on the staff, it calls on the other youth in the programs to accept people where they are, how they are at that time, and that will change over time, which is the normal part of adolescence and young development anyways.
Right. Well, Larkin Street does some incredible work, and actually I think we're going to take a moment and look at a video that's been prepared about the ongoing work of Larkin Street. Let's take a look at the clip.
You land in San Francisco, which is a vibrant, wonderful community, and it's got high housing costs and a pretty tight job market. And you think, wow, it's going to be great. The reality is, if you're 18 or 16 or 20, you don't have any money and you don't have a job, you're going to be staying in the park or someplace with somebody who's making you do stuff you probably don't want to do.
I can go a day without eating and just be like, all right, well, this kind of sucks, whatever, I'll go find food in the morning. But like, those 4 days, dude, that sucks so bad. Just,
it hurts.
It
hurts.
Last time I took a shower?
A couple weeks ago.
It's been a couple months.
It's been a couple weeks. I don't like being dirty. I hate it. It's so disgusting feeling. Like, I like sleeping in beds. I don't want to be homeless anymore.
I have everything I own in this one bag, and I'm walking in the Mission at night. I had my first experience with being jacked, which was, it's good to actually kind of get that out of the way your first time so that you're not naive about it later on.
They told me I had relatives that lived out here. And halfway here in Reno, Nevada, my mom calls me and she tells me, oh, you don't have relatives out there. So I end up in San Francisco at night, scared.
My parents want me to marry my second cousin.
To get away from the war that I was going through and back home in my country.
I went to a Catholic boarding school and I was kicked out.
Being young without your parents, it sucks.
Not all of us are, junkies. All I care about is food. I love food.
They're just kids who had an unfortunate set of circumstances and ended up on the streets or ended up needing help. They are no different than any kind of kaleidoscope of young people that you might see. We estimate that there are 5,700 youth at risk for or homeless every year in San Francisco. We sleep at any one night about 275 young people. And we help over 1,000 young people a year complete their education, go to school, get a job.
When I was like 15, me and my mom don't get along, and Larkin kind of caught me.
Some young people come to our services and they don't necessarily identify as homeless, and they come into our employment and education programming looking to get a job or to work on their resume. And then soon we learn the fuller story.
Some of us, have problems getting the help that we need because we don't know how to seek it.
How you guys doing? Have you guys heard of Larkin Street before? We're from Larkin Street Youth Services. Our goal is to help you do what it is that you want to do.
I went on the Larkin Street website and I saw Castro Youth Housing.
When I first came in to talk to Leah, I was just a total wreck, and I started coming in almost every day to see her because she just made me feel that much better.
the wonderful thing about Larkin Street is that we have this full continuum of services. So whatever that young person is seeking out is something that we can generally provide.
If you just put your mind into something, just be patient, you can really achieve something good in life.
I've been working on my resume, doing a lot of job searching here on the computers because they have an open lab.
I actually wanted to be a farmer before I left Vacaville. And right now I'm working at Hayes Valley Farm, which is a permaculture farm, as an intern.
Independence gives me courage.
If I say, I want to own a record label, then they say, well, this is the college you should probably look into. These are the classes we can help you take. Anything that you feel that you have like a strong passion for, they'll help you connect it. And that's where I want to be in 5 years.
I love kids, and I also love like working with the community. I want to do something that can affect other people. Man, it's a good thing just seeing other people's life change and just make them becoming a better life for themselves.
I do gardens in my friends' backyards. I'm going to actually start hopefully a business doing that.
The young people that come through our doors have gone through many life experiences. And in many ways, that actually makes them incredibly resilient people.
I knew I was in a safe place. Like, I knew I was going to be secure. I knew I was going to be fine.
If you participate with Larkin Street and you help young people, you're going to feel good about who you are, and you're going to know that you're doing something to make a difference and to positively contribute to your community. Like, that's a great gift, I think.
Well, it's kind of hard to follow that. Towards the end of that, I was looking at you while we were watching it, and you get kind of emotional just watching that.
Yeah. I think every time, I see it a lot, actually, and every time I do watch it, I do get emotional. I'm very connected to the experiences of the young people, and I'm really honored to be in the work and really touched by their strength.
Who are those young people in the video? Do you know all of them?
I don't know all of them, no.
I mean, any of them? Any personal stories that stand out for you? Or, I mean, I'm sure that they are quote unquote typical of the clients that come to Larkin Street. One of the things that struck me in that video was that 3 out of 4 of the young people who come through Larkin Street stay off the streets.
Right, 3 out of the 4 that complete our transitional living programs exit street life. That is correct, yes. And I'd say in terms of the strength of the young people in the video, I think there are a couple of those young people who are enormously creative, and I think we don't always know or understand about the young people that are homeless or have run away, just how amazingly talented they are and how often that talent goes kind of unnoticed or unfulfilled because they're dealing with the daily aspects of just getting by and trying to find some place to live and get some food.
Now, in that video, we saw some young people from all over the country, and we were talking before that if there is a profile of a Larkin Street Youth Services client, it's hard to really have one profile because they come from all over. And you made the point that young gay men, lesbian, members of the transsexual and bisexual community tend to come from maybe farther away because they see San Francisco as this great gay shining city on a hill, and it's not like that.
Right. I think that many, the LGBTQ youth are overrepresented in the homeless youth population in general, right? And then I think we see about a third of the youth that we see identify as LGBTQ, and they come to San Francisco thinking, oh, that's great. It'll be safe and warm and welcoming, and people will want to help me. And as much as San Francisco is a place of helpful people and caring people, it is still very cold here. Housing costs are high. It's a hard place to get a start. And I don't think that youth have experienced the warmth of the city when they don't have a place to stay or when they don't have a job or when they seem or are homeless. There's stigma attached to that.
Do you think that, or have you heard stories of LGBTQ youth coming into your program and suddenly being in a dormitory or a space with some other non-gay youth and feeling fearful or feeling homophobia? Does that happen?
Sure. We have 200, almost 300 beds, housing beds, and when young people come in, young people are coming in from all walks of life. So we spend a lot of time trying to make sure places are safe, that all young people are accepting of one another and accepting of difference, that people are walking in the door with how they grew up or what were the norms in their communities. They're not necessarily coming in with everybody is the same or equal if that's not how they grew up or what they were exposed to. So that takes work and time. I think the commonality that they can all get to is that they all need some help, and that some not so good things have happened in their lives or they wouldn't be at Larkin Street.
Right. Now, you said that Larkin Street goes and meets the young people where they are. Right. Explain to me what you mean by that. Most people just come in and say, hi, my parents kicked me out because I'm gay, or my dad's a junkie, or I just ran away, I don't like my parents. I would imagine that doesn't happen as much as going out and finding kids on the streets.
Right. So I would say meeting kids where they are, meeting young people where they are, has two different meanings. One is literally doing street outreach and being in the places that homeless youth are and outreaching to them and beginning to form a relationship and helping them to come inside, if you will, right? That's a pretty scary step to trust somebody given their life histories. Meeting them where they are is also about meeting them where they are physically, emotionally, psychologically, developmentally. So that if you want to come in and you just want to check in and get a meal and get a Band-Aid, we're going to do that. If you want to come in and you want to talk about a job, then we're going to start doing that. If you need to come in every day for a year to just see how it's going to be and just get that meal, talk to somebody, begin to form a relationship, then we're going to do that. We will always encourage you to engage with us more, but we try really hard to just welcome you in.
Right. It said in the video that 3 out of 4 who complete the program stay off the streets. What is the program and how long does that last?
So what we mean by that generally is our transitional living programs, which range from 18 to 24 months, and our comprehensive services in those programs include case management, education, employment, mental health and substance abuse supports, and life skills. So young people that go through those programs, when they exit into independence. And increasingly, we will be looking to track outcomes and understand that youth are exiting with housing stability, employment gains, and educational gains, and be able to track that long term.
In our last few moments, tell me what you think is the greatest misperception about quote-unquote homeless youth or a Larkin Street client.
I think most people either don't think about them, they don't have a perception, right? They're invisible, or they think that they're kind of bad kids, right? Well, these are folks that just don't want help. And I think that really can't be farther from the truth. They are remarkable, incredible, strong, resilient young people.
And hopefully made more so by the work you do.
Let's hope.
Thanks so much. We've been speaking with Sherilyn Adams, Executive Director of the Larkin Street Youth Services in San Francisco. I'm David Perry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on 10%.